Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Laitman. Hello, Shai. Hello. So on our previous show, we said that I tried to connect with my friends in something called the Ten, under the guidance of the writings of Kabbalists. We can generate between us the conditions that exist between the Ten Sefirot, like it is in the upper reality. And this is how I reach equivalence of form with the quality of bestowal. And we said that it happens when I change my attitude toward that 10 or the 10 Sefirot that are in front of me. And we also said that much of the change happens as a result of something called prayer. So we'd like to start with an excerpt and then deepen on it. So Rabash writes, since the emanator wishes to bestow and waits for the lower ones to give the proper kelim for reception of the abundance, when the prayers go up, when the prayers are arranged in such a way that it is fit for acceptance, they're called a kli for reception of the abundance. In general, in Kabbalah, what is this concept called prayer? A prayer is that which rises from a person's will to receive, that the Creator, the upper force, will correct him, arrange him, position him in such a way, or it, the desire, or the person, in a way that he will be able to receive the upper abundance, the light. So prayer is a person's main way to have the Creator influence him with the light of correction and then with the light of fulfillment. This is actually the prayer. Host. So the prayer is the way in which I activate the system. Yeah? We talked about an infinite system. Yeah, infinite system that includes all the worlds, and a person, by turning to the Creator, activates it. Host. I can do with it whatever I want. It's like I was given the car keys and go. Dr. Laitman, no, it was given to you in order for you to get to know the system and what can you expect of it. Host, so it's not whatever I feel like, that it's like a magic wand. Dr. Laitman, no, because you don't know what to ask for. First of all, you need to learn. What should we ask for? What are we going to receive? What are we going to do with what we're going to receive? What are we going to advance toward and for what? Meaning our prayer, our plea, to us opens a mutual connection with the upper force. Host. Many say that a prayer is something that, the entire world prays. But when I came to the wisdom of Kabbalah, and we see it are many students that just started studying, they come with a certain concept of what a prayer is, how to pray, that you need to do A, B, C, and then. But in the wisdom of Kabbalah, we're talking about something different. What's the main difference between what the world considers to be a prayer and what the wisdom of Kabbalah says is a prayer? Dr. Laitman, the entire world prays. The still, vegetative, animate people, each and every created being, has a deficiency. And this deficiency, this want, wants to be fulfilled with what it lacks. So we can say that the prayer is the entire existence of each and every created being. That this is actually a prayer. Host, the fact that we're sitting here is a prayer. Dr. Laitman, right? Because you want something. And then, unconsciously, subconsciously, you raise your prayer to that force that activates you, fulfills you, that brings you to a certain goal. Host, I heard that also the still has a kind of prayer, Dr. Laitman. Everyone, everything. Host, so can I say that the difference between potentials is a prayer? Dr. Laitman, even that. Anybody that wants to draw something into it, it's a prayer. Even this desk, that's still, this is its prayer, to stay this way, Dr. Laitman. Yeah. Host, but we're talking about a prayer to activate the system on a new level. Dr. Laitman, this is a non-simple prayer. It's not the prayer of the still, the vegetative, or the animate, but it is man's prayer of a person that studies about the form that he can come to and what does he need to do in order to activate the system, not instinctively, but to activate it in order to reach the preferable state, to reach the system, to come to the system and activate it mutually, which is called I to my beloved one and my beloved one to me, I toward the upper force of the system and the upper force toward me, host. So it's not instinctive. The other prayers, they come automatically by nature, and this is a prayer that I actively activate. Dr. Laitman, right. Host, so it's like an upgrade of the prayer, Dr. Laitman. It's the difference between man and all other created beings. Host, I know that when students come to us and they hear a lesson about the prayer, it's a very exciting, maybe the most emotional lesson that we have. People really burst out in tears, and we read experts about how a prayer is the work in the heart, that it's not some kind of ceremony. On the one hand, there's lots of inspiration. On the other hand, perplexion, because I'm used to praying for my livelihood, my health, for my friend to find a spouse, so I can't pray for that anymore. Dr. Laitman, no, it's not that you can't or that it's forbidden, but there is a prayer which is for your fate, for the main purpose that exists before a person, about his connection with the upper force, that he turns to the upper force, and then he awakens this as a mutual connection. That's called I to my beloved one and my beloved one to me. And then from that prayer, a person already starts directing himself, moving toward his main goal, purpose in life, of getting to know the upper force and to be connected to him, with him. Host, well, undoubtedly this is amazing, but also we have many questions. Suppose now I got fired, and I feel kind of helpless. Now, obviously, the purpose of creation, that's amazing, and I want it, but I also need to find a job. It's a basic need. Can I ask the Creator to help me to find a job? Dr. Laitman, anything that you feel that you're lacking, you can ask for. Now, the question is, how do you ask? And to what measure what you're asking for becomes really a request that comes forth. Host, how do I ask for a job, Dr. Laitman? Yeah, you can ask the Creator for a job, because certainly everything that happens comes from Him. There's none else besides Him who activates and operates all of reality, including your future state, your job. Host, so it's not ruled out. I only need to find the right way to do it. Dr. Laitman, in order to succeed. Host, can we say that it will succeed if I will somehow find that purest place in me, that I'll try to connect it to Him somehow? Dr. Laitman, right. The main thing is that your prayer suits the Creator's purpose, goal. So can I say that the request won't just be something greedy, make me king of the world, but I want to find some kind of adhesion with you. I want to reach the purpose of the meaning of my life. Help me find or meet my basic needs in order for me to be able to stay on the right path. Dr. Laitman, that's more correct, yes. Host. Also, we said that there are instinctive instinctive prayers, and maybe all of these When I ask for my basic needs, it's something that simply erupts out of me. Dr. Laitman, yes, in every given moment, a prayer comes out of you, host, and I can even find when is it instinctive and when am I boss over the prayer? Dr. Laitman, preferable so, yes. Host, there are many students that come from different methods, New Age, different things, and they don't necessarily call it prayer. There are people that say that I awaken some kind of guided imagination. Do these things work? Dr. Laitman, everything works. Anything that rises from a person's heart, a person's desire, the heart is the desire in the wisdom of Kabbalah. So it's called. It works. The question is, to what extent does it work? Host, how can I know to what extent, Dr. Laitman? That's a different question, but it works. It has an impact. Host, so we pray for connection with the upper force, for reaching the purpose of our life. Some prayers work, some don't, but a person needs to find through experience how to combine everything, but still to stay focused on the upper force. Dr. Laitman, yeah. Host, another surprising point when people hear about prayer in the wisdom of Kabbalah, what it is according to the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's the fact that we're used to praying to the Creator, to nature, to change reality. That I think that something doesn't suit me. Suppose I have here water, I want for it to be tea. Change reality for me that I'll have it good. Now, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, the focus is on praying on my inner change, not on changing what's outside of me. Can you explain the difference? Dr. Laitman, yeah. The reality that we create is what we depict on the inside. It's depicted inside of us. And so what follows is that everything depends on me, on how I perceive reality. The wisdom of Kabbalah teaches us that reality is the upper force that fulfills the whole of reality, and we, in that upper light, feel ourselves according to our desire. So what's important to me is to change my desire in such a way, to direct it in such a way, to suit it to reality in such a way that I'll be as close as possible to the uppermost reality that I can come to, that I can reach. And then what happens is that all of our prayers are actually how to come closer to the Creator. Host, a Kabbalist who sees his reality, who feels what goes on in his life, he's not looking for what to correct in his life. But how can I make corrections on the inside of me, that later on it will be expressed on the outside? Right. But it's actually the other way around. Everyone asks for the world to be corrected, but a Kabbalist asks for himself to be corrected, and as a result, the world will be corrected. Yes, the world that he will see will be more corrected according to the Kabbalist's corrections. Host, there is something very confusing about it. Suppose, God forbid, someone that I love becomes ill. God forbid. The Creator gave him this situation. We learn that there's none else besides him, the good that does good. So, who am I now to interfere in God's plans? Maybe that's the right thing to do, that my beloved one needs to understand something from it, his soul, I don't know. Who am I to ask for his health now? What, I'm destroying God's plans? Dr. Laitman, yeah, the Creator is doing it on purpose for us to ask, and in such a way that we'll be able to come closer to Him, to the Creator, and to ask for plenty and abundance for everyone. Host, so the situation, to begin with, isn't for the disease to go away or not, but it's in order to cause me to connect with the upper force. Yes, it's like something's happening here in order to achieve connection with Him. Right. And that in your connection with Him, you'll start asking for everyone to have it good. for plenty and abundance for everyone. Host, why is it so confusing, Dr. Laitman? In order to correct man, in order for man to see that from above, from the Creator, always come down good forces to everyone. And whatever seems to us and we feel that is not good, it's in order for us to intervene and ask for them to be changed for the better. This I completely understand, and it's amazing. And sometimes I see that you're in a kind of confusion in relation to the scrutiny. Sometimes you find yourself as if exhausted, like I ran a marathon trying to scrutinize what is a prayer. It sometimes wears you out, the confusion itself. Yeah. So, going back to the question, why did he make it so confusing? Why is it impossible to connect to him in a rational way that I understand? This happened. I need to do such and such, and that's the correction. Dr. Laitman, that's how it really happens. That's how it really works. But you need to change yourself all in all, not the world. For you to see that the entire world is good. That also those people or cases that you see, that they will all seem to you good. Host, so suppose there's some kind of mess outside. I need to ask the Creator to change me to see why is this the right thing? Or do I need to ask the Creator, please make peace in that place or that part of the world? Dr. Laitman, first of all, the plea, request needs to be for me to see all of these things correctly in the right way. That it all comes from above, bring the entire world and all created beings to good, to the good form, and that eventually I reach a state where I have nothing to do but to thank the Creator for creating the entire world in a corrected way. Host. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of our show in the time we have left. We'll also like to read an excerpt. This is the meaning of the Creator craving the prayer of the righteous, meaning those who pray and want to be righteous, meaning ask the Creator to help them invert the quality of Malchut to the quality of the upper nine. Here we're really connecting to the 10 Sefirot already, about how the prayer is I as the Malchut. How do I connect with the first 9? Can you explain about the special connection here? Why is that a prayer, Dr. Laitman? The Malchut that connects to the first 9, the Tet Rishonot, it means that the desire to receive that the Creator has created connects to the 9 influences over it, having to arrange itself in such a way that in being suited to the first 9 will start bestowing. The desire to receive in the created being, for it to receive all the qualities of the first 9 and to become a bestower like them. Host. So all the interactions between the Sefirot are actually prayers? Sure. So this is what happens between them, prayers and movements of lights and vessels. Yeah? You said that, well, you were a lot with the Rabash, and on one of your walks, when you complained about things, he answered you in a very simple way. He told you, why didn't you ask? Why didn't you pray, actually? Yeah. Can you tell about that state that it's sometimes, well, it's so simple on the one hand, but we can't do it. Dr. Laitman, we need to ask of the Creator to arrange the lesson for us, the lessons that we'll learn from nature, from ourselves, from the changes that we're going through, that we'll learn. How can we more and more come closer to the nature of the Creator, to bestow, to connection, to love? And this is actually the entire correction that man needs to do. Therefore, as if there's nothing here that's difficult besides being sensitive to the changes that we go through, and upon all the changes to ask for him to help us, save us, to bring us closer to the truth. Give me the ability to see the truth, for me to see it, want it. And this is actually all of man's work. Host, when you heard him give you this advice, asking you, why didn't you ask? What did you take from that moment? Dr. Laitman, that the prayer is the main thing, that it's really so, that in every given moment a person needs to turn to the Creator to talk to him. Host, as someone who grew up in a secular home, I really had much disregard towards that. Prayer, what is that? You think that you, the little guy, turn to the heavens and something happens, but you actually see that this is the only thing that you can actually do as the created being. And sometimes it's hard to believe how much power exists in the prayer, that this is really the force that moves reality, that a person can, how can a person throw away all the doubts and engage in that? Dr. Laitman, gradually a person comes to that. Eventually all of humanity will come to that too. After it will become the spirit of all of its actions. Host, and if I'd like to sum up what we heard on the first part of the lesson, then we have the Sefirah of the Malchut that constantly draws into itself, and its correction is to as if try and invert itself, to change the arrow instead of towards itself, to be toward the other Sefirot, and that's called equivalence of form or changing the intention. Right. And then the same laws that apply to the 10 Sefirot, this is what I try to do for my friends in the 10. Instead of being engaged in myself, I try to as if invert my heart toward them. So what do I ask for them? You need to ask for the others, that they will have a good, nice, direct, proper connection to the Creator, and that they will understand the way the Creator operates them, and that they will be able to turn to Him correctly.
So can I actually say that the way that I'd like for the Creator to treat me, this is what I need to ask for them? Yeah, you can say that. It kind of reminds about love another as yourself. What the Malchut asks for itself, it needs to bestow onto others actually. Right.
One more question. We're so excited by it, and when you're engaged in it, you think, what else do you have to be engaged in? And you want for other people to hear this too, but it doesn't really bother them. How can I pass it on to others? Dr. Laitman, unfortunately, it's something that's not burning inside the person, or that most people in the world feel as something necessary, but we are nonetheless coming closer to it from one generation to the next. We're coming closer to it nonetheless, and there will come a time where people will understand that this is the only way to change the world, by turning to the force of nature, that the Creator is nature, turning to the force of nature in a way that He will become ever more revealed to us, and that He will teach us how to be in equivalence of form with Him, in mutuality, reciprocity. Okay, that's, I'm content. Thank you very much, Dr. Laitman. Happy for you. Good luck to all of you. Yeah, we'll meet next time on our next show. Thank you very much, Dr. Laitman. All the best.